Those are some deep words. Am I my brother's keeper? That's from the movie New Jack City. And we all know when you in that life, you always have one of them soldiers or one of them goons or brothers that you will refer that to or say that to, you understand? Because that's your ride or die. That's the man that you trust, you understand? That's the man that you expect whenever you pick up the phone. That's your ride or die. Let's not forget. Big Meech and Young Jeezy know each other for a long, long time. And the one thing is that Big Meech was the one that, found Young Jeezy, basically raised him, basically sunned him in that level. You understand what I'm saying? Big Meech was already a fucking millionaire, or quadruple millionaire, before Jeezy came into the picture. And Big Meech took a big interest in him, you understand what I'm saying? Cause let me tell you something, Big Meech and Southwest's brother from Detroit, they upped it, you know what I'm saying, to Atlanta. And y'all already know how the history goes from there. BMF came out, and the rest was history. See, Big Meech was the flamboyant one. He was the one that liked to, show off and show his expenses and show his jewelry and show how much money he got, while Southwest was the quiet one, low key. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like too much attention. But Big Meech took a lot of interest in Young Jeezy. He even threw Young Jeezy a $5 million party. For those of you who don't know, yes. And you see, when Big Meech got locked up, Big Meech was expecting for Young Jeezy to be there for him, look out for him, or, you know what I'm saying, basically pay his lawyers for him, you know what I mean? Because Big Meech for Young Jeezy has always looked out, you know what I'm saying, like the big brother, basically like a mentor, you understand what I'm saying? And for some time, Young Jeezy was there, I ain't gonna lie to you. He represented for Big Meech, but after a while, Young Jeezy started evaporating. The visits became less. And even the calls, the collect calls weren't even being accepted after a while. And Big Meech started to wonder, why is everybody in my camp getting caught up? Why is everybody in my camp going to jail? But there's only a few that are still walking scot-free, like they ain't never been investigated or, you know what I'm saying, been interrogated to be brought up in the investigation room to ask them questions or whatever. So Big Meech started wondering, damn, how come Young Jeezy ain't even fucking with a nigga no more? How come he ain't even showing this boy no love? What's going on, bro? So Big Meech started putting two and two together, and then it was said that Young Jeezy with his old girl and they private jet got caught with a whole bunch of keys. I don't know how true that is, but to me, I believe that's false. That is one of the fakest, lamest stories, because I did my research into it, and I found no type of paperwork of Young Jeezy connected to the FBI or the FBI, interrogating or arresting Young Jeezy for any type of investigation. So that story you can leave out the picture, because I did my investigation on that. But when it comes to the Young Jeezy and Big Meech friendship, Young Jeezy, ain't you supposed to be your brother's keeper? Ain't you supposed to ride for your brother? Ain't you supposed to be there for your brother like he was there for you? He never failed you. He never tried you. He never said, fuck Young Jeezy when he was out in these streets. And you gotta understand, Big Meech was basically the billionaire within the gangster world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna go through his connections and what he did and who he knew. I'm not finna go through all that. My thing is this: friendship supposed to mean brotherhood. It's supposed to mean loyalty. It's supposed to mean respect. It's supposed to mean word is bond. Always together. Ride for whatever. Ride or die. But I guess Young Jeezy felt, you know what? I ain't got nothing to do with it. You got caught up with that shit yourself. I'm not the one in federal prison. I'm not the one that's serving 20 years. So you know what? Fuck this man. It's all about me. I'm doing my thing. And then his other homeboy, I think it's Blue Lychee, whatever his name is, who was real down with Big Meech. Come to find out, he also was said to have snitched on Big Meech and several others, and that's why he never entered a day in jail or in the federal penitentiary. So when you look at Young Jeezy and you look at Blue, you telling me that these guys never were investigated? You telling me that these guys never were interrogated by the police? You telling me that never washed? I gotta give it to Big Meech because he kept himself composed, cool, calm, and collected. But what he did for so many people, come on, bro, for all the people not to show him the love and respect that were out, because a lot of people got apprehended, a lot of people caught a lot of years, and a lot of people will never see daylight again when it comes to the BMF, and a lot of them died as well, or they ended up killing each other for a lot of purposes: jealousy, envy, money, and other things that I don't even want to get to even talk about. But that is the word when you in this type of world. First, you can't trust nobody. And that's a mistake that Big Meech did. You know what I'm saying? Other like Southwest was more composed. He was more, hey, I want to be by myself. I want to be solo. I don't want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? I'm low key. I ain't with all that party. I ain't with all that gathering, with all that damn crowd and audience and commotion. Big Meech was very different. You know what I'm saying? And the FBI took a very interest in Big Meech. And as the FBI was taking a big interest in Big Meech, Young Jeezy's career started taking off. You know what I'm saying? Young Jeezy's career started going from, just a little bit reminded to worldwide. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Worldwide recognition. Doing music with Kanye, doing music with Akon, and doing music, with other rappers. And his albums were blowing up. So Young Jeezy was making a name for himself in the hip-hop industry and in the hip-hop culture. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, Young Jeezy has a lot of bangers, bruh. A lot of bangers. So I guess Big Meech was like, damn, Young Jeezy blowing up, you know what I'm saying? My nigga gonna look out for me, you feel me? He gonna make sure that them lawyers are paid, you know what I'm saying? He gonna look out for his brother, cause that's what we do. Real niggas ride together. Ride or die to the day that we die. That's how brothers do. Because we are our own brothers' keepers and we are our brothers' keepers. But instead, Young Jeezy decided to take another route. He decided to say, you know what? I want no parts of none of this RICO case investigation, and decided to walk out from Big Meech. But my thing is this. When you hear Young Jeezy rapping, he's still rapping about the trap. So to me, it was like, hold on. The man, your mentor, the man that accepted you in the family, gave you a chance, you know what I'm saying? You left him on the side like a bandwagon because you chose to take another route. But here you are still talking about the streets and trapping and doing what you do like Big Meech did at one time. And Big Meech goes back in the 80s, y'all. I'm talking about Big Meech and his brother, when they started, they flooded the streets of Detroit. They got so big, they started going to different states, but they decided to plant themselves in Atlanta. And boy, when I say they skyrocketed it, they went bonkers, bananas. And their name, BMF, became a symbol, became a worldwide recognition, but it also became a buzz, and it became an buzz for the police, for the FBI, for the CIA. It became a total visible watch when it came to the whole BMF family. And believe me when I tell you, they did not stop until they got everybody. They even found houses of Big Meech full with money under his big mattresses, his houses, his apartments. I mean, you name it. Big Meech had mansions everywhere. I don't care what state or country you will refer to. This dude was flooded with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. But guess what? It all came to an end. Everybody was brought up. You know, the BMF family started getting too selfish, started getting too cocky, started getting too conniving, started getting too deceitful, too hatred, too envious, too jealous of themselves. And it all came into crumbleness. It all came into one of the biggest downfalls in drug lords history when it comes to the drug business. You understand what I'm saying? And Big Meech took 20 years to the head like a real G. He ain't snitch. He ain't put no paperwork. He ain't put nobody on no fucking affidavit. He ain't put nobody as A and Q. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. He did none of that. But Young Jeezy and a couple of others remain free. And I think, to my thoughts, I think Big Meech figured, you know what? This man is not arrested. They know this man hung out with me. They know this man was around me. They know, man, I did parties for this man. I did celebrations with him and the family. I did a lot of things for the whole family. And none of these motherfuckers ever got questioned or nothing. None of them even, was presented in trial or in court with nothing. Things that make you go, And I don't want to sit here and say that Young Jeezy did snitch because I don't know. And I'd be fabricating it in line if I did. I'd be bullshitting if I say that Big Meech and Young Jeezy fell out because of Young Jeezy snitching and cooperating with the FBI and CIA. I'll be the biggest hypocrite if I say that. But you know what? Am I my brother's keeper? To me, if I'm in that type of world and I had somebody that was a mentor like Big Meech, I would ride or die for that man that now has no way of doing what he wants to do. And especially being in the feds, boy, they got their eyes on you 24/7. You can't do nothing. Everything you do, write letters, phone calls, the way you move, the way you present yourself, the way you conduct yourself, the way you move around people that are incarcerated with you. They watch everything you do. I'll be the first one to be there for my brother and say, hell yeah, I'm my brother's keeper. You roll for me, I'm going to ride for you. But that wasn't the situation, and it wasn't the landfall when it came to Young Jeezy and it came to Big Meech. But you know what? Young Jeezy is scared of something. I don't know what it is about. I don't know what Big Meech knows, but he said it clearly. And I'm not going to say exactly the words of what he said, but he said, Jeezy, you know what time it is. And, it gets to a point where you start to figure and wonder, did Young Jeezy put me out there? Did Young Jeezy really work with these boys? Did Young Jeezy took a deal and they gave him partisanship, as in whatever he said won't be used against him, and he ain't had to present himself in court. They gave him immunity. I think that's what it is, immunity. You know what I'm saying? To where, yes, he can say what he want to say, but he doesn't have to present himself in court. He doesn't have to show up. He has to do it. No paperwork, nothing. Just say what you have to say, and they will use that against Big Meech, you know what I'm saying, when he presented his case in trial. So he probably got immunity and got away with everything. I don't know. I can't say because I wasn't there. So for me to say that about Young Jeezy, I'll be bullshit. But it comes to, for people like myself and others who used to live this life not as big as Big Meech, you know what I'm saying? Man, I was a little centipede compared to what Big Meech and his brother lived, you know what I'm saying? But I did live that life. And one thing I'm gonna tell you, when everybody got caught up in my crew, everybody went down. And guess what? 75% stood hush, then he said nothing. I'm one of those. And the other 25 decided to talk. And I don't even want to talk about where them people at right now. But it just comes to show you that sometimes even being your brother's keeper or saying that I am my brother's keeper doesn't work in these type of and these type of lifestyles, this type of facade, and this type of, pizzazz, and this type of, luxury, gangster, mafia type of fucking life that people like Big Meech and his brother and others that were affiliated, want to see themselves go through. Because at the ending of the day, what is it going to do for you? Everybody's going to fall. If you don't have a backup plan, and if you don't have something that you can do when it's not related to blood money or any drug type of related issue, and you can't do it legitimately, you're going to fall. But I'm not going to lie. It also enhanced the beef between Young Jeezy and Big Meech. You understand? It infuriated and it elevated the scandal and the chaos and the circumstances even worse than what it was. I don't know how Big Meech feels about Young Jeezy now. I don't know if Young Jeezy will ever see Big Meech face to face. I don't know if Big Meech will break Young Jeezy's face when he sees him. I don't know. But one thing is for sure. These brothers don't like each other. They used to show each other so much love, so much companion, and so much gratification towards each other that it was inevitable for them to even not have a friendship or a brotherhood like they once had before. But now it's so different. You understand what I'm saying? Big Meech is not in the standards where he was. And if he ever tries to get there, he already knows that these boys have their eyes on him. So he can't really do nothing much. So my boy's trying to go legitimately. You understand what I'm saying? And his son was in the show with 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? And look what happened there. And then Rick Ross ends up playing Big Meech. You know what I'm saying? And Big Meech thinking that he was going to get away with it with 50 Cent. 50 Cent tried him and told him, nah, bro, you don't do real niggas like that. You understand what I'm saying? Shit, I did something for you from the heart. And look what you end up doing to me with Rick Ross. And that's another scandal itself. You understand what I'm saying? But my thing with this video is when you said that I am my brother's keeper, yes, I am. When you said that you are a keeper, when you say you are a ride or die, when you say that you will be there no matter what, and then out of nowhere, you end up in this situation like Big Meech did, and you're not there to ride or die for your homie, then you get what you deserve at whatever time it comes, dawg. Real talk. Young Jeezy, just always remember this, that I said this if you ever see this video. Don't say what you don't mean. Don't practice what you can't preach. Because at the ending of the day, anything you say is going to be held and accountable towards you. You understand? And from the bottom of your heart, like a real G to another, dog, I don't believe that Big Meech deserved that behavior from you. I don't believe that Big Meech deserved that type of, you know what I'm saying, disrespect from you. I don't believe that Big Meech deserved to get dissed and disrespected by you. You know what I'm saying? Even though you feel like probably Big Meech was the one that tried you because he said what he said, but you have to think about it. This man just did 20 years in federal prison, dog. This man, half of his life was in a fucking cell that's smaller probably than a fucking, than a $10 tent. You understand what I'm saying? So to him, a lot of things were going through his mind. A lot of things were spiraling in his mind. You know what I'm saying? So you have to respect that coming from a brother that was your mentor at one time in life, dog. And for you not to respect that, you understand what I'm saying? It just further just lets me know, bro. Things that make you go, and maybe, and just maybe, what Big Meech and others said is maybe true. I don't know. Just like I said, if I said that you was and you did cooperate it, I'll be lying. And you know what? What was the point about me making this video? I would look like the biggest hypocrite in this world, and I'm not here for that. I like to stay facts. That's one thing about me. I've always liked to stay facts. Even, you know what I'm saying? If I understand some situations can't grasp itself more or what has already been told, I'm always going to speak the facts about it. You understand? So my thing is this. Will Big Meech and Young Jeezy will ever reconcile? Will they ever become boys again? Will they, you know, let bygones be bygones and shake hands and, you know, have a new friendship? I don't know, for real. This is the ending of the video. Y'all go ahead and leave y'all comments down below. Tell me what's your intake within the Big Meech and Young Jeezy beef going on for so many years. I say about 20 years or more. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what time it is, man. Tell me what's y'all thoughts. Tell me what y'all think, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here grinding, doing what I got to do. Y'all already know, man. Got to pay them bills, bro. But there's your boy Jaloso, Chico Black. Y'all go ahead and holler at me. Y'all have a beautiful day. Peace.